What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here and for being subscribed if you are. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube while you're at it, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this podversation / reality chat. All right, this is going to be a conversation. I'm behind the wheel right now. So guys, if you hear some noise in the background, you hear some air blowing, or you might hear a turn signal a time or two, just ignore it. I'm just trying to get this in when I have the time. And I wanted to talk about the ridiculousness of it all when it comes to martellholt and the revelations, which is just confirmation about him wanting people to perjure themselves, which means to lie under oath on the stand in a courtroom. There are some people that have integrity that are just not going to do that, no matter how much they may like or love you, because they're like, screw you. Like, I'm not going to get in trouble because you want me to tell a story that's going to be in your favor if it's not the truth. So you all know that Martell, he tried to be despicable and get full custody of his, like he loves to say, 4 beautiful children that he had with Melody when they were married. And it was all out of spite and all for a motive of trying to get a consistent check because he's broke. And he has no real valuable skills when it comes to being successful, making money. And Melody said something on this most recent episode that literally is the truth. You often hear about couples that are going through a divorce, and more times than not, just based on the way traditions have been, it has been when you're going through a divorce with a celebrity or someone that's extremely wealthy, it's usually been the man that had been in a position of being the main breadwinner. So if they're going through a divorce, alimony is something that the courts would consider most of the times, or sometimes they would award, sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes the husband would contest alimony. Sometimes they were all for it. Sometimes it's already in a prenuptial agreement that they sign saying, look, if things don't work out, you'll get alimony for X amount of years. If we are married for 10 years, you'll get this much. If we're married for 15 years, you'll get this much, 20, this much, blah, blah, blah. Those agreements and terms and conditions have already been agreed upon and signed. And then maybe if someone tries to contest the prenuptial agreement, then that's when they would bring it to court. But either way, you've seen that more when it comes to, over the years, the traditional marriages with the woman mainly being the one that would be relying upon the husband. And this term, the lifestyle they have become accustomed to. You would hear that a lot. Now, with the situation with Melody and Martell, a lot of people may not see it that way, but in essence, that's exactly what it has been, because he was relying on, like she said, this dual income that he was benefiting from when they were married, and he had become accustomed to a certain type of lifestyle. But in actuality, the dual income was more him just benefiting and profiting off of the hard work that she put into it, but allowed him to be a part of it. So his name was on deals and his signature was on contracts and maybe even bank accounts and things like that. But if she had seen the forest for the trees, then she would have started separating a lot of those things prior to her going through the separation and the divorce, because he just became accustomed to the lifestyle. He became accustomed to the dual income that he was benefiting from and profiting from, but she was the one that was doing the work. She was the one with the builder's license. She was the one that knew a lot of the people. She was the one that was going to a lot of the meetings. She was the one that was having the babies, getting pregnant, giving birth, and doing business. And his lazy, good for nothing ass was just there benefiting from it. So the fact that he had the audacity to try to get full custody of the kids, it was like, well, I ain't doing much. She's always out there working. So just give me custody of the kids instead of you going and putting the kids with babysitters. I'm not doing anything. I'm home. Let them be with me. And then you can get visitation and see the kids when it is convenient for you. But why should you have custody of the children, or why should it be joint when you're not really with the kids a lot? Which is what he was trying to say, which was not the truth. It was a lie. And then the fact in the last episode, not the most recent one, in the last episode, he wanted to bring up in a therapy session that he really felt like putting hands on people and hurting people, including his mom, because if they agreed to babysit the kids, then they should keep their word. What are you doing where you can't take care of the kids yourself? You're not that busy. Riding down to Atlanta to see Sheree and the stupid crew of females that would allow you to do whatever you're doing with them is just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know, maybe the word got around because of all the lives that Coleslaw, his baby's mother, was putting out there about how he loves to put his mouth in between her butt cheeks a lot. Maybe they wanted to try it out. I don't know. But anyway, in this episode, it was revealed that he wanted them to lie. He subpoenaed Chris and Nell Fletcher to court. Didn't ask them if they would mind being witnesses, so he subpoenaed them, had his attorney subpoena them. Like, if these people are your friends, you claim they're your friends, why wouldn't you have a conversation with them and just ask them if they were okay with that? I'm assuming he did not ask them if it was okay. And even if he asked them if it was okay and they said, no, we don't want to be involved, then he's like, well, you know what? I got to subpoena you guys. You really don't have a choice. I just believe that he blindsided them and that pissed them off. So you want to subpoena them and you're assuming that they're going to come to court and lie for you? So he's having a conversation with his mom and he's talking about, you were on the stand. You really didn't say what you should have said, or whatever the words were that he said to her. And it's like you wanted your mom to get up there and lie. Your mom, she may have raised a good for nothing, I was about to say son, but sounds like the other one isn't much either. But she may have raised a few good for nothing kids, but that doesn't mean that she's going to get on the stand in court and lie for you. She's like, you guys have had you've had your situations with the law. I don't want to be involved. Like, you're on your own now. You're adults, and I may not have given you the best life growing up, but you're on your own. And so he's getting upset with her and wanting her and other people to get on the stand and perjure themselves to make it seem like Melody is a horrible mother. And he's such a liar because he made statements saying things like, well, if you don't really want the kids like that, then just give them to me. We know that is a lie. And the fact that he said something like that to try to make it seem like, well, that was his reasons for seeking full custody because she made a comment about, well, why don't you just keep the kids for 6 months and then let me get them for 6 months? I don't believe she said anything like that. But even if she did, which again, I don't believe that she said that, even if she said something like that does not mean that would imply that she does not want her children and she doesn't want to raise her children. He's so full of it. So for him to say something like that was just utter bull. And then for him to think that these people owed him to lie for him in court because he subpoenaed them, Chris and Nell Fletcher, and then for him to make the statement about, well, because of what she's doing, we had to pull friends in court and get them involved in our situation. You didn't have to get anybody involved in your situation. You chose to bring this matter to court. It never should have even happened. You wanted to file for full custody and think that she was not going to respond in kind? Like, are you kidding me? It was just crazy that he thought that she was just going to lie down and take it. And, Melody made a comment about the judge seeming to be biased in the situation. I 100% believe that. It happens a lot. I was a legal assistant for 12 years, and I can tell you that there are a lot of times when judges definitely are biased. There are a lot of times when judges are friends with some of these attorneys. And even though they may ultimately follow the rule of the law, it doesn't mean that they won't show some favor and some grace towards someone that doesn't deserve it along the line as the case goes on. Because Melody, when she mentioned the things about how the judge kept giving him, I meant to say, well, we know Hotel is a bitch, so if you want to say that, we could say her, but we're not talking about Melody and the judge. We're talking about Hotel and the judge, and how the judge kept giving Hotel all of these opportunities and extensions when there were deadlines to bring in paperwork and he was supposed to supply certain things or do certain things. She kept giving him the opportunities to do the things that were asked prior to, because kept getting extension after extension after extension. And because she had her phone number changed and didn't give him her number, they used the judge, she used that to say that we see that the father has been doing his best to try to do what's in the best interest of the children, but we can't say the same for the mother, and not taking into consideration any of the reasons as to why she would not allow him to have her number. So she said that she's thinking about filing an appeal just for that. And I would say, if you have the money and the time, well, I mean, obviously she has the money, but if you have the time to do it, then I would say, yeah, go ahead and file an appeal. And hopefully, you can get that wording corrected. Because for them to not consider the fact that he had been harassing her, I 100% agree with her as to why she would want to file an appeal, because it's not cool to put that information out there, especially because there have been people, not that people's opinions matter much, but there have been people who have put it out there with regards to that statement that was in that order about Melody and how she hasn't been doing what's in the best interest of the children. The court is saying that. And there are people who are taking that and running with it and exaggerating it and making it seem like she has not been a great mother, or she's been not allowing him to be a father. And that's just not true. So I can guarantee you, she may have given him the number to one of the phones, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't have another phone that he does not have the access to. Because if I had one phone and then I had another phone that I did not give him the number to, and they said I had to give him that number, then you better believe that I'm going to go from having 2 phones to 3. Like, you can't make me have him have access to me all of the time when this man has been so despicable and so horrible, and he has been harassing. Like, no, absolutely not. So the fact that he wanted these people to get on the stand and perjure themselves is just insane. But yeah, that's the type of person that he is. He wants you to lie for him. He wants that access that he does not deserve. And then he believes that his mom was not doing the best that she could in giving her all when it comes to getting on the stand and testifying on his behalf. She may know that her son ain't shit, and she may even want the best for her son, but that does not mean that she should get on the stand and lie for her ain't shit son. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk about that real quick. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. This is Beth. I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and I'm going to say bye.